change a number of load times or something, so it would actually be noticed. But anyway, so we're still working on Britain. We have 159 points left, and let's have a look at the map again. So I think what I want to do is take that hill. I've decided these victory X's are just a little too far out in the open to actually may get there comfortably without taking a lot of losses. So if I take this hill, I at least I'll have control some high ground here, and that's helpful to try and provide a good overview of this area and possibly back there. So need some units to take that, and but getting the combo to do that is what getting the combos to do the things I want is where I'm struggling. So I have an idea of what I want to do now with this victory X's here, which is somewhat closer. Yeah, these are somewhat closer to the British side. British are starting on the left-hand side, the west side of the map. So these victory X's here are somewhat closer. We have some concealment to move up and try and get into a position to take them. So we need a force to do that. Again, how much I don't know. And then now this leaves a big gap in the middle, unfortunately, because only the other victory X's over here, which are also somewhat easier to approach because you can move up behind them, but behind these hills here and not be seen. And you have some high ground on this side, which could be useful. So, how much do I need to take that hill? I honestly don't know. I was thinking like 2 platoons there, 2 platoons there, 3 platoons there, 2 platoons there, but that just the points just didn't work out. So I then reduced it to one rifle platoon, 1 engineering platoon to support them, but engineering platoons aren't really all that effective at fighting. The best they're already useful for laying mines and stuff, laying and clearing mines. I don't know if that'd be useful up here. So that's the thing. I mean, it has to be one rifle company because they're the ones that have they have light mortar and LMG attached. So that provides the support needed, and then the engineers would just be there to provide rifle support, additional rifle fire if necessary, because they don't even have LMGs. But is that enough? I don't know. So, but we'll assume I'm assuming I'm going to go with that, and then the advanced force that they'll have recon to in advance of the infantry, but for a more mobile advanced force for advanced reconnaissance, I was looking at the Recce team, I think they're called, but they're elite units, so they are massively overpriced. Well, no, they're not. They're not overpriced. They are expensive, yes, but they are elite units. I mean, they are 10% above what you would normally get. So, but it is quite costly. And then I was thinking in the middle, because the points are just not working out. So 3 platoon, platoon of a rifle platoon supported by engineers again. Backed up by engineers just to give them more manpower, and they have scouts and the lead unit would be a armored car, and which are supported by some scouts. That's sort of I don't know, that it seems like it's not very much though. That's the problem. In the south, so rifle platoon, engineering platoon. In advance, I was thinking another Recce team, and the Support would be armor, which actually could be operating um, between these, I guess. Not necessarily back. They could be backing up either one of those. Um, I mean, they would have the scout. The scout cars are not very. The light armored cars are, well, as the name suggests, they don't have much in ways of protection or firepower. The only anti-tank capability they have is a boy's anti-tank rifle, which, from past experience, has shown is not very effective against anything other than armored cars. Really, against actual tanks, it's pointless. So I wouldn't count on that. They have machine guns, but that's a useful thing, in against other infantry, obviously. So that's the general idea. Hopefully, we'll get a little further. So, base experience is 59, which is really low. Well, I think that's just normal for the British because that's what it was last time. I think the Germans get a higher base experience here. That's why it threw me off because I recently started paying attention to these things because tell you how difficult it will be for your force to get anything done. Um, so we're starting with a rifle platoon. And then we have a engineer platoon. Let's try and do things on the cheap and then see how it works out. And then we'll need, well, we have an LMG team, so that's fine. We'll live with that. We'll go with the MG section. Since I'm gonna go cheap, I'm gonna go with a Lewis, which is no, that's all platoon. I don't want a platoon. Wait a minute. Yeah, I don't need all platoon. Just need a section. Yep, it's only 22 points. Okay. Actually, no. Let's take that out. Let's put the scouts in first. Yeah. Go with 2-man again because we're just trying to keep the points down for now. And if we have lots of points left over, we can see what else we could add in. Just try and get the basic force that I think I need. Then we want the LMGs, the heavy MG section. We'll go with the cheaper Lewis gun. Okay, so in the north, I said I was going to use this Recce section, which is elite recon. So very plus 10 experience and morale bonus. Cost of 64. Very expensive unit. You can get either the 4-man scout or the 2-man scout. The 4-man scout, well, it's quite annoying because it sets it up as one of them will be 2-man, the other will be 2-man, the other one will be 4-man. And it's one of those things where it's probably to get that number back, you have to like pick something else and then do something and then do a bunch of you have to do a bunch of steps which are not clear what it is to get that number back because somehow, yeah, because then the game's picking the defaults somehow because it appears to be what the how it was entered into the OOB. So I have no idea why it does that, but it does require some hoop jumping. So if you actually want that, you basically should take it right away rather than mess with it and then struggle to figure out which hoops you have to jump through to get it back. It's not a bad group. I mean, they have APCs, bring gun carriers, which can carry 8 men. With this formation, there are only um, 10 men in there, so um, there's only a total of 10 men. So there's uh, 6 seats available for some other use. I'm not sure what those could be at this point, but maybe we'll come up with something. So anyway, oops, and it actually brought it back this time. I'm actually going to go with the 4-man, simply because it's a very small unit. It simply because it's a mechanized unit. They're not like these guys are going to arrive in noisy vehicles. There's no way that we're um, like having a two-man units is just silly. So I'm going to go with that, which breaks the whole rule of let's try and get the cost down. Well, if you're gonna get elite, I think it's the main cost of that unit is, or that formation is the fact that they're elite troops. Um, this is one of the things I wish you could just control. You had more control over that. Okay, I don't need, this should just give you average troops, and you can decide to increase it manually. Give me more experienced troops, because I think I might need it for this particular job, or this particular type of formation, or something based on your own experience of how they operate actually, or how useful they are, or maybe whatever reason you can come up with. So next group, and then the engineer platoon. Okay, so scouts. 2-man scouts for these. MG section. Yep, go with the Lewis. We're down to 430 points already. Okay, so now I said these were going to be. I'm actually going to go with that section in the miscellaneous. The LAC section is the Mars LRC. So I'm with a 33 Bren AMG, which means it probably has a pretty decent range. And a Boise tank rifle, which, only equipped with AP. It's not gonna can't be used for anything else. There's actually a different one, but it is significantly more expensive, and the armor budget will be broken quickly. So now this is assumption. This is assuming I'm going with a a 70-point cruiser tank. Maybe if there's any points left. But I'm looking at the number, saying, okay, this is running out very rapidly. These will need scouts. They need something to ride with them. So back to infantry, patrol. We're gonna put 4-man scouts in them because they can carry. Each of those can carry 4 men, so that works out very well, actually. Okay, so that's the center. In the south, rifle platoon, engineers. Down to 247 points already. Wow. Okay, so scouts. 227 points remaining. And I said I was going to give them a recce section for the advanced reconnaissance. and we're gonna make that a 4-man unit, and that's gonna leave me 160 points, which is hurting pretty badly. Really feeling it here. Thing is, like, I wish I could find a unit that had some mobility without it having without it costing me armor. Like, the best option I have for that is all um, expensive units. That is very, very, very frustrating with the British. Mobility, when I first started looking, I thought, oh wow, they have lots of mobility. But at that point, I hadn't realized yet that they're all very expensive mobile forces. So you can tell where the British were prioritizing. Okay, so if we're going to set up these units, and we're going to give them these expensive armored personnel carriers, well, then they're special. And so this is how they end up being elite units in the game, because they were not probably not they were specially trained and things like that, right? To make use of these toys that will be given to them. So we have a carrier platoon, which is massively yeah, very expensive. Carrier section is a whole 76 points. Bring on carrier. Oh well, it's got an anti-tank thing in it, but it's nothing. It's just a boy's anti-tank rifle, so it really shouldn't be that expensive. The boy's anti-tank rifle is, I mean, like all anti-tank rifles are not really that good against real tanks, unless you're like basically it's about to run over you. And if actually it's about to run over you, if you're hitting it from the wrong angle anyway, it should be you probably want to be hitting it from the side or the rear, or even from the top if you can. There's nothing. Like, there's nothing. Uh, these are 42 points, but it would count as armor because it's an armored unit. Like, these carriers don't count as armor because they are, they're APCs. But they're 76 points, and they aren't. There's no infantry with them, so I mean, the only way this could be helpful is if you take these, eat the 76 points, and then, anyway, let's see how bad this is. So that is the recce. Okay, wait a minute, I missed something here. Okay, we need the energy platoon. Now, section. Why are these in a stupid order? That's what I want to know. I think that the order of these is just the order that they're in the file, because it's not a database or anything, so there's no sorting. There's no way for the game to sort these, right? It has to be sorted manually by whoever puts it into the file. So, I mean, really the way it should be done is that, if should you have rifle, like, the section should come first because that's probably what you want. And then it seems to be organized correctly because all of the cavalry units together. I would actually have the rifle platoon and rifle company together. And really, I'd prefer to see the section first because when you're scanning down, you're looking for, because in most cases that's how it is for every other nation. So, or most other nations. What do we want here? MG section. We'll go with the Lewis. All right, so and then we go with the Reiki section, which is crazy overpriced. Um, and we've only got 138 points left. Yikes. Okay, so now at this point, I probably should take the artillery. No, at this point, I probably should take the. So do I have what I think I need here? Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll have to do. So let's take the armor, which is cruiser section. So either the 74A or hmm. All right. Well, I'm gonna go with this one. I wish there was. Well, the only way we're gonna understand that is go hunting in this one, which is a rabbit hole on its all on its own. Yeah, okay, most of them were used in North Africa. Um, only 60 produced. Wow. Only 65. Oh, 65. Only 65 produced. Wow. That's a pretty small number. Well, it's pre-war, January 39 until summer 39. Let's go. Let's see. So cruiser section. Well, these are somewhat more. The other thing is also that, wow, rear armor is that only 6mm rear armor? Yes, it is. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Good. I'll go with this one. So that's the armor. Okay, no infantry riding on them. Now that leaves me with 68 points. Yeah, this is not working out. These recon things, these advanced recon units are just too damn expensive. Um, I'm thinking of making up my own one for those because I buying carrier sections might work out better, but the carrier sections themselves are quite expensive. Um, yeah, so let's look at the artillery and see how bad off we are here. So these are 38 points. Yep, we're in bad shape. So I only get 2 tubes of this. Yeah, or I get yeah. So this is not going to work out. Close, but not quite there. All right. The main problem with this is these recce patrol. These recce um, what are they called? Recce sections, because they're just stupidly expensive. So I got to find an alternative to them. I think the armor, because the armor is okay. I think because um, I've spent as much as I'm allowed to spend, um, but these other things are not working out. So these Recce Patrol ones are the main problem. I gotta try and figure out a way to make them cheaper. Good luck with that, he said. Now they basically consist of a carrier, which a carrier section consists of is 76 points consist of a self-propelled anti-tank gun, which sounds a lot better than it actually is because it's just a Bren gun carrier or Bren carrier with uh, a boy's anti-tank rifle in bow mounted. Um, Not exactly um, good enough for fighting against other, actual tanks. So that's kind of pointless. But there isn't anything at the MG carrier, which is not recon. I'd like them to be recon, but of course, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter because that only really matters with it only really matters with command and control on. So that's 30 points. They can carry 6 men each. So if you put one of those and some 4-man scouts in them, might that be enough? It's in here. Well, if it wasn't for that, this would actually be quite an interesting. But it's so expensive. So damn expensive. That's the frustrating part. Carrier platoon is crazy expensive. I got a feeling I'm not gonna be able to do what I want to do here. Not gonna be able to achieve it. These ones can carry 8 men. That one can carry 8. Somehow, these can carry more? Why is that? No. MG carrier section. Well, that is not cheaper. That combo is not cheaper. Well, the fact that they recon is probably part of why that is so expensive. Why that is 76 points. Damn it! Damn it! The points just ran out. There's just not enough to do what I want to do here. Yeah, but my sense is this is where the issue is. I need because I'm looking for a way to get the cost of this down. I need something that can advance quickly ahead of the slow moving infantry. For to scout ahead, and this is the easiest formation to get, but it's actually it's also turning out to be the cheapest formation to get. So maybe the problem is I'm just not. I'm looking at this not well at all. Maybe that's the thing. Okay, so between these, so I'm getting two of these recce sections. That's a total of 128 points. Trying to cut that down seems like a really tricky thing. Well, how else could I do this? I mean, what else could I support this infantry? What else is there available that's small enough, inexpensive enough, delivers a reasonable amount of, because they deliver quite a lot. I mean, it's a 10-man unit. So even with reduced men or reduced, what's it called? Reduced units. I can't remember what it's called, but this is a realism option which will reduce that number from the maximum. They're just armored rifles. They're not really very special. These are two-man recce teams. These are the cheapest MGs, heavy MG that you can get. I don't see what you can do to cut this down. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see what you could do here. Damn. Yeah. Well, for mobility, it's not looking that good, actually. Um, the carry section is 76 points. One of those, and let's see if I split these up, because each of the carriers can carry 8 men. That's an entire platoon. It can carry an entire 4-man scout platoon. Which cost 16 points. Yeah, one possibility. What I'm thinking is splitting this up. So because I need 2 groups, and so I would attach them to another. Yeah, but I don't know. I can't. Thing is, you can't create another platoon. Like you can't just split those up. You have to actually attach them to another headquarters unit, which means probably attaching it to. The formation leader of the platoon. That's pretty much how I think that's the only way that could work. So then one of the groups would not have the self-propelled anti-tank gun. They can carry 2 men. That unfortunately counts as armor, so it would count against the armor limit. Damn it! Uh, hmm. Yeah, I'm just trying to juggle points and it's not working out. Hell, jeez, it's so. This is where you start thinking, yeah, it'd be nice to have more points, but I honestly don't think it actually would. I mean, it would solve this immediate problem, but it wouldn't solve it when no, this nation's values, the value of the units start to increase enough that in later war years, right? Because you still have to budget then. It's like in the case of Germans, it happens a lot faster, so you tend to notice it a lot more quickly. For example, I mean, it changes a lot between 39 and 1940. In 1939, I got a lot more bang for the amount of points I was using. In fact, 800 points, yeah, I got a more balanced force than I could get at 1,000 points. In 1939, 800 points produced a more balanced force for me um, than 1,000 points did in 1940. That's how much it changes. The cost is just enough that it upset what I'd done, what I thought I'd learned in 800 points, which is one of the reasons why I said, yeah, okay, let's just increase it because I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I'd figured it out, right? Yeah, sure. No, you didn't. Um, yeah. So the only thing I can see that I can try to do is actually just because there's two brain gun carries in there. Um, yeah. So maybe what we'll do. Pull these. And the reason I do this is just to keep it organized on the screen rather than things getting confused. Because if I delete that in the middle of the list, it will create a gap in the formation letter. Because each formation is A, B, B formation, C formation, D formation is D formation, D formation, E formation, etc. But not having a gap makes me start to wonder where it went. In other words, I'd get confused, and that's not a good thing. So let's just do it this way. Now, the engineers are an inexpensive infantry unit. Um, the British do not have horse-mounted cavalry in 1939 anymore. Um, at least not in well, I'm assuming they had horse-mounted cavalry some in certain parts of the world. It might just not be available because this is obviously a Western Europe battle. It's just not available here. Um, so if we change the opposing nation, it might to put it someplace else in the world where they might actually have had cavalry, like maybe Italy, which would probably put it in North Africa, I guess. Um, Maybe I don't know. I don't know what it would be. Maybe you'd get cavalry. I'm not sure. Not sure. Scout patrol 2 man. MG section. With the Lewis. And another one of these. I can't see how I can reduce these, so this seems like the barest minimum of infantry I should be taking. And maybe that's the problem. I should actually be looking at spending more on infantry. But then I mean that's 64 points, so it's not as even engineers are not cheap. So and the rifle platoon is 75 points or something, cheaper than Germans, but not that cheap. Scouts. And heavy MG. Okay, that's in theory is the infantry. Like a rifle platoon is 75 points. Yeah, I actually remembered it correctly. So I mean that hard to replace that with something cheaper because you're getting. I mean the reason it's so expensive is because you're getting an LMG and a light mortar in it, which doesn't count. That light mortar doesn't count as artillery because it's an organic unit that's is attached in the OOB to an infantry platoon. It does not count as artillery. Um, it's not free because I mean obviously you're paying it in the 75 points here, but it doesn't count against your artillery limit. So in the total cost of how much this the total cost of this is what bites you in the end because it's more expensive. Whereas the engineers are cheaper mainly because they don't have the LMG and the mortar. They only have rifles, which makes them less effective. But maybe the rifles are enough, right? I mean, as a group here, they have an LMG, they have a light mortar, they have a heavy MG to cover them from a distance. Um, will be enough? No idea. If I get through this and actually get to the battle, we might find out. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so no, so let's see if I can get. So let's see, and I want to make a carrier. We want to make a mobile reconnaissance unit. That's gonna require recon. Let's pretend we have command and control on because we might as well. I don't really want to get into the mindset where well my command and control is off because that would require a reset again, like a change in thinking when and if I get back to command and control on. And one of the reasons I wanted to um, play by email was to get that experience because playing with command and control or on against the computer player isn't really very uh, interesting because the computer player isn't limited by it at all. It completely ignores command and control. So basically, the only reason you would do that is to make the game harder against the computer player. And frankly, I find the game hard enough against the computer player anyway. Not because it's good, because it plays so. Actually, because it plays so badly. So when you try to do things that you can't really play against it like you would against a human player, just because it doesn't. You have to just play it as if it's gonna do stupid things that come at you in very very narrow attack uh, on very narrow attack vectors. So it's not actually difficult to defend against it. It's difficult to attack it. It's actually very good at defending because if you tell it to stay in one place, it will just sit there and it's so well hidden. So it's good for practicing recon, for example, to figure out where the enemy is. But if you need it to behave as a human player, that's not really all that easy to do. And doesn't really end up with an enjoyable game. Mostly the way scenario designers compensate for the inadequacies of the computer players, they give it lots of toys, lots of artillery, lots of tanks, lots of things to throw at you. So basically, just being overwhelmed by numbers, not by any sort of skill of the player. So the idea is to buy one of these, um, and then split it up somehow. Now there's 4 of them, so that's 76 points. Now we need to bring this in under 128 points, I think I said, or 120. Ranking section 64, so 128 points, yeah. So, scout patrols. The 2-man is. Okay. If I'm gonna do this, then I should actually consider the possibility of just taking the 2-man here, because that reduces it by 6 points. Would that be enough? I don't know. Okay, wait a second. I was buying this one, which is okay. Yeah, it is a big difference because that I had 2 of these units, 2 of these formations, and it was 600. It was 100. It's actually 100 and 34? No, yeah, 134 points. So, yeah, okay, that's a lot of points. So we got to come in. If we can bring it lower than that, so the alternative is just to go with a 2-man and actually deal with the fact that this is actually not it's a very weak scout unit in terms of being able to of survivability. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what we can do here. So that costs 76 points. Carrier section costs 76 points. 76 points. We go with that at 16 points. 3 of them is 48, which is going to make it a hell of a lot more. So it would have to be 2-man anyway. And I think, well, if we went with that, that's 106 points. Split them up, so attach the brain gun carriers to these, because they can actually, the carriers can carry quite a lot, and just leave the brain carrier the anti-tank, the brain carrier anti-tank by itself as a separate thing, maybe. Actually gives me three separate ones. Now let's assume we don't do that. Let's assume that we go with the recce section, but actually go with the 2-man because that's the cheapest option. And 2 of them. Now we have 194 points. Go with the armor. Cruiser section. And we're gonna put some scouts on that. No. Okay, maybe go with that. No, it's not working out. No, those Ricky's units are just way too expensive. So we're gonna have to actually mess with it quite a bit. This will require a lot of fiddling because I'd have to rearrange a lot of stuff in. Okay, so let's get the things that I know I want first, or the things that I think I figured out already, maybe. Actually, now I see that the rarity of the 4 is 1, so it's not actually, shouldn't be available here continuously. I mean, there were only 65 of these produced, so actually they should be rare. The Cruiser 3, but it mainly comes down to cost. And some scouts to go with it. Okay, let's get the artillery. 2 sections and a 4 observer. And we'll see what else we can do with what's left over. I think that's basic artillery. 2 mortar sections and a 4 observer. Yeah, that's basic. We might not be able to do much more than that. We have light mortars as well, so yeah, actually might not need anything else. I mean, each group will have a light mortar close by, so might not need anything else. So maybe the and that's the armor budget. That's 70 points. The Mars LRCs are 28 points. So that's 98 points. That's filled out the armor budget completely. The mortar sections are this is under budget, but there may not be any points left to do anything else. So we'll see. I'd rather get more artillery actually. If it came right down to it. So time to mess around with this. Now I can't rearrange these. So if I get one of those and get uh, 3 scout patrols, 2-man sections, simply because we have a cost problem. Leaves 2 points over. That might work. Now this will require rearranging. Take each of these. Take the three brand gun carriers, attach them to these formation leaders in during deployment, and just leave the anti-tank unit on its own. It won't have any. It won't actually be a full formation. Or I might actually just take 2 of them and attach them to the other ones, and then actually have these ones operate with that one. that works out actually. I mean, it's not exactly what I wanted because it's somewhat weaker, I think, than what you could have got if you had another 200 points, for example, um, or even another 50 points. But it's reasonably satisfactory, and I think I'm done. Let's see. So we have a group like this group is attacking in the north. They're supported by it's an advanced. Okay, well they're advancing in north to take the hill in the north. We have another group that's moving towards the victory axis in the center of the map, and this group is advancing towards the victory axis in the south of the map. The tanks are basically covering between the center and the south, because it's a huge open space, ideal for tanks. They can move either to the north or the south. I think they may be able to pull that off. It's a bit open, but they may be able to get away with it. The Marcellus series is advancing in the middle with these units here. The mortars are obviously deployed further back. Now these will be rearranged, so we'll have two of these carriers in this formation will be attached to other formation leaders. They will be moved. One of these will be moved to the Y formation, the other will move to the Z formation, and the X formation will operate with these guys, with the remaining two in here independently. The only reason to move them over is because again, just pretend that the command and control is on, because otherwise how would they get orders? They would then, if they leave them attached to this unit, then separating them runs the risk of them not being able to receive orders, and even once they need orders, even recon units need orders occasionally. So that's probably your best. Now, since we're not playing with command and control on, it doesn't actually matter. But I'm going to keep playing that way because just to keep in that mindset, because like I said, I hope to become experienced enough to be able to play by ML with command and control on again. That's my goal, but one has to have a goal, otherwise you just kind of muddling forward. I think I'm gonna go with that. Yay! Finally got the British units all bought. Well, 2 points left over, and not much you can do about it. Shit happens, I guess. Okay, so we're done. Are we? Let me just pause for a second and make sure I'm happy with this, because once I press done, well, I mean, it's a solo game, so I can go back, but I prefer not to. I've spent way too much time trying to figure out how to balance this, and it's probably still not going to work in the actual battle. If I missed anything, these guys have there's the ABMG, Royal Engineers. Because that would be more annoying is if I realized, oh, I haven't taken the ABMG for this group or something stupid like that. Then you think you figured everything out. No, you haven't. There's 2 mortar sections, a forward observer. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. Right, we're done.